And so welcome. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. This is our webinar. We're going to go over how to set up an online auction using the Auctria platform, and we'll have some bonus video on converting a silent and live event to online. Our goal is to help fundraising groups make the most out of their auction fundraiser. This webinar is part of an ongoing series with exclusive content from Auctria, so please be on the lookout for additional topics. We know you do all that work for the auction fundraiser, but are you really maximizing the event? Do you ever ask yourself, can we make more money with the same effort? And the answer is yes, and we're here to answer a couple of those questions. Just a quick overview of Auctria. Founded in 2011 as charity auction organizer, we updated our name and logo to Auctria in 2016. Like many awesome tools out there, this program was designed out of need. We too were tired of paper bid sheets, unorganized tracking, long, cumbersome checkouts, and there had to be a better way. So our founder brilliantly developed Auctria from the ground up, taking into account the entire auction process from the very first donation to the very last receipt and all the bidding in between. For some background, since its inception, Auctria has been used to run auction fundraisers for 28.6 thousand auctions. 3.3 million bidders have flowed through, 1.8 million items, and over $170 million raised. Still, every day is new. We're appreciative of feedback, whether it be for the platform or for content like this. So feel free to email us at any time, either through hello@auctria.com or reply to any of our emails. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to start from ground zero, setting up the organization and the auction event. So we'll talk about the organization, adding a donor and item, setting up the website, because you're doing an online auction. That's the most important. You want to know what bidders see. We're going to show you how closeout, checkout, and reports look when you're doing an online auction. And then, like I said, I do have a very in-depth how-to video on how to convert silent and live to online. And don't worry about taking any notes. I'm going to post everything. You'll have resources to play everything back at your convenience. Okay, this is a visualization of the hierarchy of your Auctria organization license. The organization is at the top, and the organization has purchased and is the owner of the Auctria license. Depending on your purchase determines the number of events you may run during the license year. So bronze is 2, silver is 4, gold is 8. The organization level details were most likely set up upon purchase. However, now is a good time to review those details. At the org level, that's where you're going to set up the logo, your credit card connections, social media links, and donors. Then each event has its own items, bidders, and website. You can also set your admin level by event too. So if you have people helping with just one event, you can set it up per event. So this is your dashboard. And this is pretty much the first thing you see when you establish yourself on Auctria. The pretty boxes in the middle, in the central part, are the auction dashboard, and it shows an overview of your entire auction. I want to draw your attention to the yellow circle. Inside that, you'll see a little plus sign. The plus sign indicates that you can quick add to those items. There's 2, one for items and one for bidders. That'll help you quickly navigate to where you want when you're on that page, if you want to quickly add either of those. So on the dashboard, you get a bird's eye view of the entire auction in terms of numbers of items, bidders, income. You have fingertip access to some of the most important features there, your online registration, auction URL, credit card status, texting phone number, and your Auctria license. So in section number 2 on the left, this is your item summary. You can click on any of the blue text types to see details and drill down. On the right, number 3 is your income summary. The income summary shows a breakdown of the income sources, and it provides quick links to details. Here you'll see donor donations, closed bids, in-progress bids, and this is the most exciting page that you will watch during an online auction because you'll see bids rising, and then as everything closes, you'll see the closeout happen, and you sit back and you relax. If you've been hanging around Auctria for any length of time, you'll know there's usually a couple different ways to accomplish the same task. So this is just a quick overview of the dashboard. You'll find your comfort zone as you start to use the platform. So let's talk about setting up the organization. Each organization is separate and has its own auctions, donors, users, credit card. Let's take a look at that a little closer. So I am on the organization page. So I just clicked organization on the left, and I want to draw your attention to a couple things. You've got across the top, circled in pink, the details of the organization. Social media is where you're going to connect to use your social media account details, and these will be used in emails as well as your auction website. You've got Facebook, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube. I'm going to state the obvious here, but use only those that you keep updated. Nothing is worse than clicking on a social media link and the most recent post is months or years old. If you're not using it, don't link to it. The only icons that will show on the auction website are those that are populated. The logo area, you can upload a logo for the organization here. As well, later, you'll be able to upload a logo for the auction level because some groups want a logo for each event. So maybe including the calendar year or the event name. And then connections is referring to your email and Stripe across to finish going across the top there. So Auctria supports integrated credit card transactions from 2 industry leaders. And this is going to be really important if you're doing an online auction because you want to be able to have people pay online. So for Stripe, their processing fees are 0.30 plus 2.9% per transaction in North America. They do have discounted pricing for 501c3 organizations. So if that applies to you, make sure you're receiving their discount. Authorized.net is essentially using Auctria as a gateway for your Authorized.net account. Their current plan, I think, last we checked, is $25 a month, regardless of usage, and then a per transaction fee that is 10 cents plus their processing fee of whatever they have on your negotiated contract with your merchant account. So let me bottom line this for you. If you're not set up with a credit card vendor yet, Stripe is the suggested vendor. If you already use and love Authorized.net, then by all means connect and use them. In each case, the credit card numbers are saved securely with the payment processor, and only a token is saved within Auctria. Each are completely integrated and give you the safety and security and peace of mind that you're looking for. Okay, so let's talk about how this looks inside of Auctria. Here's the high points on the platform that you want to take note of. You need to be able to collect payment after the auction concludes, of course. So therefore, setting up credit card integration is required for an online auction. Using integrated card processing in Auctria will allow you to connect your Stripe account. You can use test and live processing modes. And the default there is live, by the way. So if you want to test it, you have to toggle that off. And then you can charge your processing fees. So let's talk about credit card handling fees. There's 2 ways to handle them in Auctria. A, the organization can absorb the credit card fees, or B, you can surcharge the bidder for the credit card fees. There's 2 schools of thought here, though. Consider the credit card fees as a price of doing business, and you don't want to nickel and dime the generous donors. Or the donors want to make the donation whole. The default credit card fees the default credit card fees handling mode is set to normal. That's the default, which means the organization will absorb the external credit card fees and not pass those on to the purchaser. You can change that to surcharge. Surcharge means the bidder is charged for the fees so that the deposit you receive will match the amount of the original purchase and what is owed. Normal is when the bidder is not charged an amount above their purchase price, above the fees. However, when donors receive their request for payment, they have the option to voluntarily pay extra towards offsetting the credit card fees. This is the best case scenario. This way, it becomes a choice on behalf of the bidder. Okay, step one, adding a new auction. From the left, you're going to select auction. Then in the middle of the screen, you're going to click add new auction. It's that simple. There's a spot to add a date. However, the date that you're adding there is really just informational or organizational within the platform and doesn't have an impact on the auction. It just helps keep multiple auctions coordinated when you are within the Auctria platform and you have multiple auctions that you have loaded from within the year or year to year. Step two is setting a bidding time frame for the online auction and online bidding. The online bidding period start and end time affect all items with a type set to online. You can define default times here for the whole auction with a master start and end time. So this is a global setting. So if I continue and I continue to look at setting up an auction, as you scroll down the page, the first thing you'll see is online bidding period. And this is all I'm doing. I'm just scrolling down that page. From the online bidding page, there are more options that you'll want to adjust and fine tune. Click on each of those down arrows, hit the pencil button, read through them and adjust them as you see fit. But some of the most popular are, well, the required is your online bidding period, the online bidding behavior. There's anti-sniping rules and notifications. Let's take a look at all four of these. So the online bidding period. This is the overall start and end time of the entire event, like I said, but you can override items on a per item basis. Be sure to put in a start and an end time for those. Let me give you an example. One of our schools around here does an online auction. They do it in March, and there's a big cultural event in our city, and they always donate to our auction, but it always seems to overlap just at the tail end. So they close those auction items a little early. That way they can get those certificates to the people. So it's just those few auction items that they end early, and the rest of it ends at the ordinary time. Let's talk about online bidding behavior. The highlights here are proxy bidding, which require a credit card to be registered to bid. It's always a talking point amongst auction teams. Powwow with your board and treasurer to make a decision that fits your audience. If you know that people are good for the money, you may not want to require credit cards to register and give bidders the benefit of the doubt. Requiring a credit card may be a barrier to entry that is unnecessary. So let's talk about notifications. For example, you want to send your high bid notifications, send raised bid notifications, send item 1 notifications, and you can check out all those notifications in that area. Choose the ones that most fit your audience. I want to draw your attention to one, it says include payment link in item 1 notification. Including a personalized link allows the bidder to pay online, and this will only be enabled if that is enabled at that particular spot. My favorite, I have lots of favorites. I love buttons and baskets and things like that. And one of my favorites is also proxy bidding and anti-sniping. Let's talk about proxy bidding first. The default here is yes. We recommend leaving this as is. However, you may want to share what this means to your bidders because you may get some questions. Let's talk about it. We didn't invent proxy bidding, but we did perfect it for online auction fundraising. A more descriptive term for proxy bidding might be automatic bidding. Proxy bidding accelerates the bidding so that the bids go higher, faster, and this is an amazing online auction booster. The greater the number of bids, the higher the auction fundraiser proceeds. So when proxy bidding is enabled, after a bidder is registered, he or she can place a proxy bid and set that for the max amount and allow the machine to auto bid on their behalf. So why would you want to offer proxy bidding? Proxy bidding allows bidders to set the highest bid they're willing to pay for an auction without having to babysit their bidding. So when offering proxy bidding, auction fundraiser admins find that the auction items do go faster, higher, faster, excuse me. Why would a bidder want to use proxy bidding? If you find an auction item that you truly want to win, the bidding starts and you have a pretty good idea it'll escalate within time. In a traditional bidding scenario, they'd have to wait to get outbid and then place the next highest bid, and this goes round and round a bunch of times. Proxy bidding is much more efficient, and this is one of the superstars of the online auction. The bidder can place a private proxy bid for the maximum that they are willing to pay and then let the system re-up the bid as necessary. And the system will keep the actual bid as low as possible, yet provide a path to remain the winner if the bidding stays within the proxy amount. So what happens if the bids go higher than the proxy amount? The proxy bidder will get a notification and they'll have to re-proxy or place a higher bid. So if you're running an auction fundraiser, this is a superstar of your activities. Let's also talk about anti-sniping. This is one of my favorite features also. They're all my favorites. It's like having 10 kids. Have you ever been running an online auction and as the bidding is closing, there's a surge in activity? The winner is the one that got that very last bid in at the last instant before the auction closes. The winning bidder is super happy, but how much higher could those bids have gone? At Auctria, we call those bidders snipers, and we have the answer anti-sniping feature. Here again, we didn't invent anti-sniping, but we did perfect it for the auctions. You can use anti-sniping to capitalize on the nature of the online auctions. When using anti-sniping, if a bid is placed within a set time right before the auction item closes, there will be a trigger that opens the bidding window to lengthen that for that particular item for an extended time frame. This continues if additional bids are placed and keeps opening and pushing that window open longer. And it closes if no bids follow. So like I said, this one also is a superstar for online auction events. So anti-sniping rules, how do you implement those? To match the clock that was in the previous page, this is what it would look like in the platform. This is the anti-sniping page. All you need to do is to define the anti-sniping trigger window in minutes. So that's how many minutes prior to the auction closing, if a bid comes in, will it keep the window open? And then the second piece is the anti-sniping extension. That's how long the window will remain open if a bid does come in. So if your auction is set to close at 10, but an item, last minute bid comes in, it'll push it out to 10:10. And if another bid comes in, it'll push it out till 10:20, 10:30, depending on how you set the time frames. So as you can see, you can probably visualize the increase in income coming in for your online auction. And these are major online auction optimizers. So there's lots of choices for setting up notifications for your auction event. I'm not going to read through all of them, but read through each one individually to make sure it matches your expectations. Item categories are really important when you're doing an online auction because it gives people an easy way to scroll through the list and find exactly what they're looking for. The purpose of item categories is for you as an admin to better organize the experience for the bidder. Categories give a nice structure to the auction catalog, so items aren't just in there willy-nilly. The quicker bidders can find something, the quicker they can find a bid. So typical categories would be travel, restaurants, event, collectibles. You can have as many as you want. And then when you're on the auction website, from the bidder's view, this is what they see. So here I selected events, and you can see how quickly a bidder can see just the events and quickly bid on their favorites. And here's a hot tip. If you're doing an online auction, I highly suggest you encourage people to download the Auctria app for mobile bidding. The bidders can use the category scroll wheel to get quick access to the auction items they're most interested in. And that scroll wheel is defined by the categories that you define. So in this example, I scrolled to electronics. It's a category, and it shows everything that's in that category. The less scrolling should convert to more bidding. And we've got our donors. You want to go ahead and add a donor, click on add donor, add the pertinent details, address, name, phone number, logo, website, etc. Then you want to add an item in the pertinent details. Item, click add item. Same thing here. Include details, include value, descriptions, and images. What's really cool when you're doing an online auction, of course, when you're at a silent auction, you have the actual item in front of you. On an online auction, you want to use multiple photos of things. And on the Auctria platform, it turns all of your photos into a little mini carousel on that auction item page. So it really gives some liveliness and some attention, grabbing energy to those items, and encourages people to click the button that they want to bid. So let's talk a little bit about item pricing in Auctria. Auctria has a built-in all auction pricing policy that saves time by setting the starting bid, minimum bid increments for your items. You can have a conversation amongst your auction team again to agree upon some guidelines. Opinions on pricing tend to shift as the auction gets closer. I've experienced this in every auction team that I've worked on. Fair warning. Pricing settings can be set globally. However, when doing so, it applies to the current items at that moment of time. It will not continue to apply the pricing policies for any newly added items. So you'd either have to A, reapply the pricing rule, or B, set those extra items manually. So like I said, I highly recommend you do this after all or almost all your items are in place, if you want to apply a global pricing policy so that it makes it very efficient for moving forward for your administration. So there are no limits on the number of bidders you can have registered for your auction event. So for silent or live event, you know, the bidders that are walking through your door are the ones that are going to be bidding on your activities. For an online auction, anybody can register. Just give them the link and let them go for it. Bidders can register themselves online if you need to enable the online registration feature set. So before the bidding begins, bidders do need to register, of course. Registration will provide them with a bidder number that will be used throughout the process. And through the years, we've received lots of requests on how to handle bidder registration. Thus, there are multiple drop-down options that can be configured. So you want to click on each of those arrows to open that section and view and configure options. Let's examine 3 of the most relevant to an online auction. You've got your online bidder registration, registration contact, and online payment options. Start with the first. So I got to this page just by flipping that little arrow on online bidder registration. Online bidder registration configurations are really self-explanatory here with a start and end time, and people can opt in for text. The most important on this page, and if I can read my bold notes that I have here, you want to enable online bidder registration to yes. So click the pencil and adjust the fields as you see fit. And like I said, these slides will be available, and we've got a ton of detail on our user guide too. The next 2 steps are straightforward. Registration contact options. The Auctria system requires 2 things, name and email. Optional at your your discretion is to include additional pieces like the bidder's address, phone number, requiring additional information. Try to request the least amount of info though, because you want to encourage people to register and to bid and not discourage them. Okay, so now you got the org set up, you got your donors, you got your bidders, and you got your items in there. Now you want to work on the dedicated website. Don't worry, you can make this easy too, because Auctria has pre-made templates and you can click one of those and call it done. If you want to invest a little bit more time, invite one of the creative people in your team to help you make the website sparkle. There's all sorts of options in the configuration, such as colors and fonts. You can add images, carousels, even video. So if you've recently converted from your silent and from a silent and live auction, you can post a video. Hey, so sad our event had to be canceled, but fundraising is going to continue. We still need to feed the homeless, educate the children, feed the animals, whatever your cause is. Put a video up there. Make an impact. The auction catalog can also be modified also on there. So in order to add your website information, you click on website on the main auction dashboard, and it will display the default to create website options, and there's many to choose from. Templates that are ready for turnkey operations for an online auction are these two: basic online bidding and basic online bidding only. And here's just a topper example of a website that used Auctria over their winter fundraising event. It was Dreaming of a White Christmas, and you can see how pretty you can add images and really make it inviting. The Auctria app really does go hand in hand with your online auction. This is designed as a bidding tool, not as an admin management tool. So you can think of it as kind of a digital bidding handle. So bidders register online, download the app, and then they can see everything on the mobile app. And the mobile app is available for both Apple and Android devices. So when using the app, bidders can view the catalog, place the proxy bids that we were talking about. What's really cool is they can put a little star next to their favorited items, and they can also receive outbid notifications. And this too really does help bids go higher faster. So if you're doing an online auction, definitely encourage people to download the app. And in the future, if you're actually using the mobile app in an event type function, I suggest doing so, especially where people are scattered at like a golf tournament or a sports event or a big school function that's going on campus. It enhances. So here's a close-up of the front page of the sample auction on a mobile device from the bidder's point of view. Remember, think of this as a bidding tool, kind of like an electronic bidder handle, and the bidders can view the catalog, place bids, place proxy bids. It's really fast. The outbid notifications pop up instantly. They can star their favorite items, and then they can sort by options like their starred items, items I'm winning, items I've bid on, and items they've been outbid on, so they can get back into the race there. So let's talk collections and closeout. When the online items close, there will be an item 1 notification sent to the winner, but nothing else. If someone bids on an item and they don't win, they would only get their outbid notification at the point that they were outbid. So let's take a deeper dive here and what that means to you. I'm traveling back to the online bidding registration page, to the online bidding setup page. In that last segment, we had talked about notifications. To make everything easy, you'll find 2 important options that are already checked for you. And those are send item 1 notifications to the winning bidder by email at the end of the online bidding. And 2, include the payment link in the item 1 notifications. This will include a personalized link allowing the bidder to pay online. This will only be enabled if the credit card processing is enabled. So if send item one, if the send item one includes a payment option button, this is what it would look like. Bidders can pay when it's most convenient for them. The easiest way to handle online closeout is to let the system and bidders do it for you. No, you don't have to close the online auction. At the defined end time, the auction will close automatically. The highest bidder is awarded the winner, and the item notifications will automatically be sent with the payment. Now you can sit back and watch the dashboard tally the closeout. You'll see the numbers move swiftly as the auction closes and as bidders click the make payment button. So you can easily see what we mean by going from first donation to last receipt and all the bidding in between. Auctria makes it easy for you. So I do have some checklists that'll be on the resource here. I have a getting started, actually we just changed the name of these. There's a getting started checklist as well as a event readiness checklist, and those will be attached to the email that I send out afterwards. So I know a bunch of you were here to hear about converting a silent to and live to an online auction. First, you want to convert items en masse from silent to online. Then you want to enable your online bidding to yes. You want to define start and end dates as well as times. And then you want to do some website modifications. If you already have your silent and live off, you're going to want to remove your tickets. You want to probably edit your catalog to show only your online items. Maybe there's some items that you don't even want to offer now. Maybe you just wanted to do them at a live scenario. So you might want to massage those a little bit. And then review any text or buttons that refer to the event. Make sure you do some cleanup there. So here's some required edits. This is pretty much what I had just gone over in the image there. So I have a little video that I want to play for you. It is about 4 minutes, but it does go into detail so you can get an overview of what you need to do. You'll be able to run this video at your convenience also while you're working through stuff. So give me a second here to hop it up, and I'm going to hit the play button.
Unfortunately, many of you are scrambling right now to take your live and silent events and move them to being fully online. So this video is going to give a quick overview of that process and how you would do it in Auctria. So we have here an event that is set up with live items, silent items, and it is set up for online ticket sales. So the website for this event is using our new website features and just has a tickets page and a catalog, but with no online bidding. So we're going to convert this to being a fully online event. So there's a number of steps to take. The first step we're going to do is we're going to take the silent items and we're going to convert them into an online item type. So the quickest way here is if we go to the item list and we're going to choose the silent items only to display. I've only got 29. If you had more, you could change the page to view all of them. And then on the report menu, we choose the make mass changes control. And in this case, we're going to change the type field from silent, we want it to be online, and we're going to select all of the records. We're going to modify those, and they will disappear from this list because I'm only showing silent items. Now the live items, I know people want to handle those in a different ways. In this case, for these items, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark them as exclude from catalog. So the exclude from catalog field will prevent them showing online. We're going to say we're going to want to handle these separately. So again, I can use the mass change control. select the exclude from catalog, and I want to check it. I'm going to mark it on all of the records, and we modify them. So now you can see that these items are showing as being excluded from the catalog. So in terms of enabling online bidding now, we're going to go in and we're going to click on the online bidding setup, and we're going to define a start period. Now obviously you'd want to choose the time that makes sense. I'm going to say it's going to start in a day or two and run for, I'm going to use a long time, but you can choose a week. Here is just a test. So having set up the bidding period, there's a couple of other options to check under the website. We choose the bidder registration page, and we want to make sure that the option here to allow bidder registration without tickets is enabled, because we won't be selling tickets to this as an online event. And then we can go in and we can actually begin to edit the website now. So if we go back to the website page and click on edit website, there's a couple of changes we'd want to make. We're no longer selling tickets, so we're going to edit the menu here and just delete our entry to the tickets page. Take that out. There's also a buy tickets button on this site. We don't need that anymore. We've got this donation element saying I can't attend. We can change the wording on that to be something more appropriate. So we can change that to read just something about making a donation. Then on our catalog page, this catalog actually was already set up. We can look on the catalog configuration to see it was already set up to show silent, live and online items. So it picked up the fact that we had changed them to all be online. So that actually is pretty much all we need to do. When we view this website now, so we can click on an item in the catalog. It's going to show me the bidding starts in a day based on the time we defined, and it gives me an option to register, so someone could click on that to register to bid in this event.
So did you catch all that? There will be a link for the conversion video. It's actually up on our website already in multiple locations in our user guide, but as a follow-up on after joining the webinar, I'll give you a specific link so you can click right to it. So auction fundraising events obviously are supposed to be fun and social events, but COVID-19 is casting a dark shadow on these large gatherings. And I know the shock and awe and the magnitude of this has hit, but now the reality is hitting us for the activities, including raising funds for your beloved cause. It can still go on. It just may take a different form. And whether you're converting your auction fundraiser to an online or needing to refund registrants, Auctria is really here by your side to help you navigate this change. We recognize what a difficult time this is for the Auctria community, and we're available to come alongside to help you transition your event to the online platform. You've already done so much of the work. Let us just help you flip the switch and keep your fundraising activities going. And like I said, we are going to be having a community discussion next Wednesday, and I'd love for each of you to join us there too. So here's a quick view of the resource links that I'll be providing as soon as, well, actually, it'll take me a little while to download this video and trim it up, and then I'll send it out to you guys. And so that concludes the rest of all of our prepared discussion for today. I do want to remind you that we post regularly and daily to Facebook and Twitter. On Pinterest, We have a bunch of boards there for sports and general donations. There's over 500 pins that go directly to donation request pages. You can always email us hello@auctria.com. And I posted our demo up there just as a friendly reminder. If you're training with a team or you want to try something out and you don't want to do it on your live auction data, do it on the demo. You can't hurt anything.